Welcome to This Podcast is Making Me Thirsty, the number one destination for Seinfeld fans. This is Two Up and Two Down. Today's episode is... Here's our producer, Chris, to start us off.
Today we're doing the episode called The Chaperone from season 6. It starts off the premiere for the season. So let's start with Chris this time. What do you got for your one-up?
My one-up for The Chaperone... Again, watching it live, I loved it, and I still love it to this day. It's just the cotton uniforms and the introduction of Danny Tartable and Buck Showalter. Again, growing up a Yankees fan, nothing better than seeing them on your favorite TV show. I thought they were both fantastic. Buck then referring to "there's something wrong with Tartable's swing." I mean, just all came together. And then at the end, Matty Lou split his pants. I mean. The cotton uniform bit, thumbs up for me.
Yeah, I love George trying to needle his way into the organization, and obviously nothing's going to go right. So, Tony, what do you got for your one-up?
All right, my one-up is going to be Elaine. I think Elaine is great in this episode. On the rewatch, I've actually enjoyed it even more. Just most recently, I just think her facial expressions during the interview are amazing. The Mr. Pitt stuff with Grace, and she's making all these funny faces. I love it when she's over at Pitt's house and Jerry calls. Elaine. It's a great, solid Elaine episode. I'm going to give Elaine just a full thumbs up on this one.
All right, excellent. All right, Chris, back to you. Another one-up for this one.
And I was close to having Elaine. I did love that interview scene as well. The Grace thing was great. My next one up is Kramer and Jerry on the date. I love that dynamic. You could tell Jerry's so frustrated and Kramer's just, kicking back, having a drink, just needling Jerry without knowing it, but, staying true to who he is and what Miss America is all about. So I love that whole date scene. And then especially how it ended in the limo when Kramer started singing Miss America, and then Jerry said, "Shut the fuck up." Yeah. So Kramer, Jerry on the dates, thumbs up.
All right, great. Tony, your second one up for this episode?
Yeah, again, I you can't argue with that one. There's a couple in there. Howard touched on cotton uniforms. I'm just going to give my up is just going to be all of the guest stars from the New York Yankees. I love the Bob Shepard at the beginning. I obviously Tartable, like O'Hara mentioned, Buck in there, and the mention of Polonia, the mention of Boggs, just packed with Yankees. Brings me back to those times of those Yankee teams. Just a great mishmash of guys to use as well. It's really just an up of Yankee, Yankee guest stars, I guess is what I'd call it.
Absolutely. I agree there. So now we're going to go back to Chris. Now we're going to start with your number one down for the episode. What do you got for us?
So this is a challenge. I mean, believe it or not, it was a challenge finding a lot of downs, but I'm going to do the Elaine socks bit with Mr. Pitt. To Tony's point, I loved everything else she did in the episode, but the socks thing just was a little too much for me. Mr. Pitt was a little annoying there. Socks bit is my first down.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I can see that. Tony, how about you? What do you got for your first down?
I agree. It's hard for me to find downs. Like this episode obviously isn't going to be, ranked super high, but it still was solid enough that downs were hard to come by. I got an odd one. It's really just a throwaway line that Jerry uses early on when he says to the woman at the Yankee game that he's doctor told him to watch his height when she said she's watching her weight. Same joke he used in the movie when we just reviewed a movie previously, where he says to Buckles, you're not gaining weight, you just need to gain some height. It just, it didn't. It just, I don't know, something about that joke I don't like. It just seems like a hack joke, and Jerry is not a hack. So I'm going with just a simple that joke, same height and weight joke.
Yes, I noticed that too. Excellent point. All right, Chris, you're number 2 down for this episode.
My last down was the final scene, I believe, the Miss America singing. There was something off about her the whole episode. I felt like, and maybe that was intentional. but the singing at the end, I never watch the complete thing anymore. I end it. So
All right, that's an interesting one. Tony, your final down for this episode?
Incredible, because I think the same thing. I didn't finish this episode watching it, rewatching it just to get my ups and downs. My down is really the girl, the girl overall, mainly because of that scene O'Hara just mentioned. But overall, something doesn't click with her. She's trying too hard. Maybe, like you said, that's the point of it. I just think it doesn't land the way it should. So I'm just saying the Miss America girl really is my down, and to O'Hara's point, probably the singing, but overall, just kind of falls a little short for me.
Gotcha. All right, so we got our 2 ups and our 2 downs from each of you. So, Chris, going back to you for final grade for the Chaperone.
they kicked off season 6, still a very, very solid season. I give the Chaperone a B-.
All right, great. And Tony, over to you. Your final grade.
Exact same thing. I gave it a B-. I think it's solid. You're gonna watch it when it's on. It's season 6. You know, it's a solid B- episode. I can't say much else than that.
All right, there you go. Thank you guys, and on to the next one.